All right, let's dive right into it. Today, we're breaking down an incredibly controversial claim that the whole Russiagate narrative, a story that dominated our political world for years, was actually built on a manufactured intelligence report. We're going to look at the accusations that led to 37 high-level security clearances being revoked and the huge questions this whole thing raises about trust and power in Washington. Okay, let's get started.
So it all kicks off with this number, 37. Now, this isn't just some random figure. It represents 37 individuals, 37 officials who suddenly found themselves right in the middle of a massive shakeup inside the U.S. intelligence community.
And this is the word at the very heart of the controversy: revoked. The claim is that the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, took the really dramatic step of revoking security clearances for all 37 of these people. And this move, according to her office, is tied directly to an intelligence report on Russian interference that was ordered way back in 2016 by the Obama administration. Okay, so let's start with the what before we get into the why. This wasn't just some administrative housekeeping, This was a direct shot, a challenge to the very findings that fueled one of the most intense political stories of the last decade. The officials who ended up losing their clearances were all connected, at least according to the DNI's office, to the creation of that intelligence assessment that officially kicked off the Russiagate story. You know the one. It's the report that claimed Russia didn't just meddle in the 2016 election, but that they did it with the specific aim of helping one candidate win. So why do something so drastic? I mean, this is a big deal. Well, the reason given by DNI Gabbard's office was severe. They framed this whole thing as a fundamental betrayal of trust. In their official statement, Gabbard's office laid out some really damning charges. I mean, they weren't just suggesting incompetence here. They flat out accused these officials of abusing public trust, of politicizing and manipulating intelligence for their own partisan goals, of leaking classified info, and get this, of committing what she called egregious violations of tradecraft. In the intel world, those are career-ending, legacy-destroying words. And this quote right here from DNI Gabbard herself really just hammers home how serious this is. She didn't say they made a mistake. She called their actions part of a seditious conspiracy that undermined our democracy. That is some incredibly strong language. So you might be asking, how could anyone justify such a severe action? Well, Gabbard's entire argument really hangs on one single claim: that there weren't one, but two completely different, totally conflicting intelligence assessments. This is the absolute crux of the whole thing. So let's just walk through the timeline as it was presented by the DNI's office. For months leading up to the 2016 election, there was one assessment on the table. But then, after the election, in December 2016, President Obama told his intelligence chiefs to come up with a new one. And it's that second report that became the bedrock for everything that came after. And right here you can see the alleged conflict in black and white. The first assessment, the one from career analysts, apparently concluded that Russia's goal was pretty simple: just sow discord and chaos with no real favor in the race. But the second assessment, the one ordered after the election, claimed the total opposite, that Russia's main goal was to help Donald Trump win. According to Gabbard, that second report was built on shoddy intelligence that the pros had already looked at and rejected. So who was allegedly responsible for all this? Well, the DNI's office points to a very clear chain of command. A directive comes from President Obama, it's received by the DNI at the time, James Clapper, and it's carried out by CIA Director John Brennan, who is the one tasked with actually creating this new report. And what about the sources, the actual intel behind the second report? Well, Gabbard claims it was based on intelligence that was already known to be substandard. Specifically, she points a finger at the Steele dossier, which she alleges that top intelligence leaders, including Brennan, knew was a political manufactured document designed from the get-go to be used against Donald Trump during the campaign. So these specific claims about shoddy sourcing start to build into a much, much bigger accusation, one that really gets at the integrity of the entire intelligence community itself. DNI Gabbard uses a very specific phrase for this second report: a manufactured intelligence assessment. Now, that's not just a fancy way of saying it was a bad report. It's an accusation about its intent, that it was basically built from the ground up to achieve a specific political outcome. And what was the alleged motive for creating this so-called manufactured report? According to Gabbard's office, the goal was stunningly simple and, frankly, deeply cynical: to undermine the democratic results of the 2016 election just because some officials didn't like who won. From the DNI's perspective, the consequences of this one single assessment were just staggering. It's claimed this report became the foundation for years of political turmoil.
It sparked federal investigations, it led to 2 congressional impeachments, and was even linked down the line to the raid at Mar-a-Lago.
Okay, so beyond all the political finger-pointing, what's the fundamental issue at stake here? Why does this whole argument even matter? At its absolute core, the stated reason for revoking these 37 clearances is all about accountability. The argument goes that for the public to ever trust its national security institutions again, the bad actors who allegedly weaponized intelligence have to be held responsible.
And this whole affair really forces a much bigger question, doesn't it? One that goes way beyond this single event. What is the proper role of the intelligence community in American politics? Should it be some kind of invisible hand, or should it be a transparent servant? This is the huge debate that these events have dragged out into the open.
So, in the end, this isn't just a story about revoked clearances. It's a story about trust. It's about accountability. And it's about a battle over history itself. A battle that is, without a doubt, still unfolding. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.